She says in one of those videos you can clearly see one of her clients defending himself against a student. In about an hour, Senator Sanders is set to take the stage in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people here at the Mullen Center. Now, some people we spoke with today say while his opponent Hillary Clinton is inching ahead in those polls, they appreciate his effort to engage with these younger voters, especially ones right here in Western Mass. Ludlow police are telling us tonight this was no accident. These bones were put here on purpose.
I loved how funny you were. I loved all the stories and jokes. I love your dad, Emma.
We were able to listen to the service today as it was going on inside the church. You couldn't help but crack a smile as fellow officers described Trooper Clardy as a jokester. But you also couldn't help but shed a tear as they also described the family he now leaves behind. Just an hour ago, the street was lined with thousands of officers coming to pay their respects. Officer Gwendon was born here in Springfield and spent her early childhood in Feeding Hills, surrounded by family who also lived in the area. We begin tonight with developing news out of Connecticut. A 7-year-old is found safe after he was reportedly abducted from his home by his own father. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Eva Zymaris. Parents we spoke with at dismissal say they are absolutely shocked something like this could happen, but they are happy that the school handled it quickly. The Belchertown superintendent sent out a release to all families and Western Mass News, saying an employee at Chestnut Hill brought an unloaded handgun to school with the intent of asking a colleague how to clean it. Joanne Holmes fought back tears as her son exited the courtroom bound by cuffs, but she remains optimistic and hopeful that he will be released from jail in a matter of days. Zachary is now being held at the Hampshire County Jail after charges were brought against him by the district attorney's office. Well, good afternoon, Chris. As you can see behind me, this is still very much an active investigation. Detectives have been going in and out of that second-floor apartment for hours now. Springfield police say Nelson has had multiple run-ins with the law these past few years. He's been stopped for speeding in the past, driving without a license, driving a stolen vehicle, and illegally carrying a gun. People who live in this neighborhood say a few years ago, this area was plagued by violence and drug activity, but now that's slowly starting to change. A former district attorney in Pennsylvania will now be expected to testify in the criminal case against Bill Cosby. Bruce Castor will be a key witness at the hearing to determine if the case should be thrown out on February 2nd. Trees are down, fences like the one you see behind me are completely destroyed, and wires and cables are hanging very low to the ground. We've been showing you video of this dumping ground all week, but it's part of a much larger issue here in the city of Springfield. This couple's next door neighbor has placed a white orchid on their doorknob as a sign of mourning. The district attorney's office maintains this is an ongoing investigation, and they don't believe there were any previous signs of domestic violence. Reporting live in West Springfield for Western Mass News tonight, I'm Eva Zymaris. This family is rattled by what unfolded yesterday morning. They now want to know why this drone was hovering over their home in the first place, and now they're just hoping it never happens again.
She thought it was creepy. She's 19 and she was very, very creeped out.
Kristen DeCicio's teenage daughter was laying in her bed when she heard a humming sound and could feel a vibration coming from outside her second-floor window.
She said she saw a white light going back and forth in the vicinity of around her window in the driveway.
Kristen says her 19-year-old daughter quickly realized it was a drone hovering over their Agawam home around 3 in the morning.
She said she pulled the screen up and actually stuck her head out with her phone.
Kristen's daughter Allie captured this 9-second video on her cell phone. You can't see much, but you can hear a low buzzing noise.
And she said as soon as the thing came back by her window and saw her, it took off.
Kristen says what unfolded Wednesday morning is unsettling, and she wants to know why this drone was there in the first place and who it belongs to.
It's our property. It's a violation of our space.
We brought this video straight to the Agawam Police Department to show them.
It's definitely disturbing.
Lieutenant Jennifer Blanchette says it's not illegal to fly a drone over someone's property, but once it lands on the ground or on the roof, it's considered an invasion of space.
This is something we have not dealt with here at the police department.
Kristen hopes this never happens again and has a message to those who may be responsible.
If we could all just respect each other's privacy and the way that things work these days, that'd be great.
Agawam police say if this happens to you, contact them immediately. They don't want anyone to ever be put in this situation again. Reporting live in Agawam for Western Mass News, I'm Eva Zymaris. Well, Dave and Therese, the Monahan family says it was unsettling and terrifying, turning on the radio and hearing what was unfolding in Belgium. Now, their granddaughter was in Brussels at the time of these attacks, but thankfully she was safe and sound.
For these people to just, maim and kill, it's just awful.
John Monahan hopped into the car to grab the morning's paper just like he always does. But when he turned on the radio, he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Brussels had come under attack by ISIS.
By the time I got back home again, my wife already had the TV on, and she was panic-stricken, as you can imagine,
John's granddaughter is a sophomore at Catholic University in Washington, D.C., but is spending the semester in Leuven, Belgium. During her time abroad, she's interning with a member of the European Parliament.
She travels from Leuven to Brussels 3 days a week. Fortunately for us, she was already in the European Union building when the bombs went off.
John says Jennifer heard an explosion nearby and quickly called her mom early Tuesday morning to say
that she was safe, she was locked down, and everything is okay, don't panic, don't worry.
Jennifer and the city remained in lockdown for hours.
And she couldn't actually get out because all the roads were shut down, there wasn't any trains running. She had to walk 45 minutes outside of the city in order to get picked up so she could go back to college.
Jennifer is still planning to travel to Paris this weekend and is not letting the fear of another attack ruin her final months in Europe.
If we stop doing what we want to do, then these people win. So she said, I'm going.
Now, John has been able to follow his granddaughter's adventures through her blog. After we finished speaking today, he was rushing home to read her latest post about this experience. In Pittsfield, for Western Mass News Tonight, I'm Eva Zymaris.